According to the Department of Veterans Affairs, 22 veterans commit suicide every day. The Vets for Warriors program is a 24-hour nationwide hotline operating out of the Rutgers Center for Behavioral Care that helps veterans struggling with physical and emotional wounds. With us now is the director of the program, retired Major General Mark Graham. General, welcome.
All right, thanks, Ralph.
Thank you for being with us.
Thanks, Steve.
22 veterans kill themselves every day, and you said that's probably an understated number. That's staggering.
It is. It's about 65, about every 65 minutes, a veteran loses their life and takes their own life.
Wow. So what does your program do to avoid this?
Well, first, thanks for having us on. Vets for Warriors is a unique, personalized peer support line. And we have over 40 veterans that are hired, they're employees with us at the call center. And they answer the phone 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. We never stop. We never close down for any reason. It's a stigma-free zone. So we're there to help, not judge. So anyone can call anytime they want about whatever they're going through, whatever their issues are, whatever their challenges are. It's a confidential program. So it allows people to call us and not worry about their information getting back to their chain of command or their employer, their unit. We're there to help people. We don't qualify them in any way. If they call and say, I'm serving, I've served, or they're a family member of someone that's serving or served, or if they're a caregiver, we're there to talk to them and help them. The idea is, how do we help them before they get into a crisis? Oftentimes we use the analogy of a fire hydrant. Many that call us feel like they're struggling, and the fire hydrant's on them with all these struggles and all the anxiety and the stressors that go on in normal life. And what we try to do is help them break it down into garden hoses. Let's take one at a time. Let's work through these with you together for however long it takes. So sometimes we talk to people 3 and 4 months. Sometimes we talk to them for 8, 9 months, a year, whatever it takes for them to get better, to do better, to help them stay into care, to get into care, or we connect them to resources, but with other organizations in the community or in the installations that are there to help them. And then but they always want that connection back to the peer. It's someone who's got a shared lived experience.
Speaking of shared experience, General, you served 35 years, and on behalf of everyone on public television, we first thank you for your service to our country.
Well, thank you.
But you understand things that neither one of us could or do understand. You understand what these veterans face. You understand what these men and women face. Tell us why so many of them even consider suicide, A, and why so many of them are facing such a horrific horizon.
Well, first, it's very complex. I lost a son to suicide when he was getting ready to start his senior year in college. He was an Army ROTC cadet. Wow. I also lost another son in combat in Iraq 8 months later. So that's why I'm where I am, because there are a lot of folks out there struggling. The military's tough. You know, it's a volunteer force, but it's tough work, just training's work. And when you add deployments on it to the family and to those around him, whether they've deployed or not, it can be very stressful. And it's a different type of lifestyle. So they're going through a lot of things in their life. And sometimes something that would seem simple and easy to someone else, to a military member or a veteran, might seem even tougher because they don't sometimes feel understood. And some people say the military's tough, and they are tough. And we train them to be tough because they've got to be in situations that are life and death. But when they come back or when they are not on duty, it is a challenge for them many times. And I have to tell you that so many are struggling because they've got things that they think are just, they can't overcome them. And we're here to let them know you're not alone. 24 hours a day, you can call Vets for Warriors, and there's a veteran that's going to answer that phone who's been trained and ready to help you. This
makes so much sense, yet the Department of Defense cut your funding. If it hadn't been for Trenton, for the legislators in Trenton, you wouldn't have the funding to be operating right now. Why were your funds cut?
To clarify, Ralph, it was Democrats, Republicans, and the governor together on this who made this happen.
Absolutely, and we are very grateful to them to see the importance of this program and to keep it going.
But why did the Department of Defense not see the importance of this program?
You know, I can't answer for the Department of Defense. I was in the Army for almost 35 years, and this program, one is it's not a very expensive program in my opinion, and it touches a lot of lives and can help people before they're in crisis. They've chosen to go a different direction.
Well, that's my question. When I read this, you know, it brought in my mind what's happening with the Veterans Affairs hospitals. It seems like the veterans are not a big priority for the Department of Defense or for the government. What's your take on that?
Well, my take is they're very important to me and to those that are serving and those that have served and their families. And I think there are a lot of great people working hard, but I think a program like this is invaluable. I mean, it's personalized peer support. they want to call and talk to somebody who's not, we have licensed clinical social workers on the call center floor 24 hours a day as well. Mm-hmm. So they're always there to support the peers and be there when they need them as well, and the callers. But the ones that answer the phone, and we answer the phone live, no phone tree, no caller menu, no voicemail. Yeah. We answer the phone live within 20 seconds.
So hold on, General. By the way, I'd love to have a different conversation with you about the larger question of how our country and how citizens in our countries treat veterans, and if time allows, I'd like to do that. But see, there's a number on the screen right now, and you knew that number immediately when I asked you right before we got on the air, which is why it's there. Someone calls right now. Tell them what happens.
Well, when someone calls that phone number, and within 20 seconds, a veteran answers the phone. And that veteran they've applied for a job, we've hired them, and we've put them through training to be a peer support specialist. And they're there to help them, talk to them, go through whatever they're going through. We oftentimes find that callers will open up and talk to another veteran in one phone call more than they would 4 or 5 sessions to a clinician.
Why?
There's a trust there. There's a trust there that you can't replicate if you've never worn the uniform, or if you've never been a family member of someone that's worn the uniform, or a caregiver. There's just a trust and a bond, like any other, like police officers talking to police officers, mothers with special needs kids talking to mothers with special needs children and fathers. There's a bond there with the military it's amazing. If you ever walk through the airport and see somebody walking around with a World War II or a Korean War hat or a Vietnam hat, a veteran walk up to him and say, hey, thanks for serving, I served too. You connect immediately. So there's an immediate trust and connection.
All right. Mm-hmm. Well, General, thank you so much for the work you do, and we appreciate your service, as Steve said. Thank you for being here.
Well, thanks for having us. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thanks.
And that's it for this edition of New Jersey Capitol Report. For my colleague Steve Adubato, I'm Rafael Piraman. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next week.